Hello, Miss Terman here, going over ISN 14, Shades of Meaning, Synonyms. First, I'm going to read through all of the instructions, and then I'm going to show you how to do this in my interactive notebook. So number 1, I'm going to title the page Shades of Meaning, Synonyms. Number 2, I'm going to choose one of the vocabulary words from the table below. You'll see at the bottom of the screen there's a word bank. You'll pick one of those 10 words. Number 3, you're going to go to dictionary.com and paraphrase the definition of the word you chose. Number 4, you're going to use thesaurus.com and find 5 antonyms for the word you chose. Then you're going to use thesaurus.com again to find 5 synonyms for the word that you chose in the word bank below. After you find your 5 synonyms, you're going to rank. You're going to order them from strongest, number 1, to weakest, number 5. Then you're going to justify or give your reason for each choice, explaining why each word is stronger than the word below it. Now I'm going to show you my notebook and what this looks like. Okay, now I'm on my interactive notebook, and it's time for me to title my page. The title of this page is Shades of Meaning, Synonyms. And today's date is 9/30/20. So our first step was to choose one of the words from the list. I'm not going to choose a word from the list so I can run this example the whole way through. The word that I'm going to use is impartial. So I chose my word from the list. My second thing I'm going to do is now I need to go to dictionary.com and I need to look up the meaning of the word impartial. All right, here I am at dictionary.com. I'm going to type the word impartial into the search bar. And I'm going to find the dictionary definition, the denotation. So our definition is right here. And I'm going to write that down into my notebook. All right, so I have my word. I have my definition from dictionary.com. Now it's time for me to complete number 3, which is find antonyms. So what I'm going to do is I am going to look up the word impartial in thesaurus.com. So here I am back at dictionary.com. It is linked to thesaurus.com. So if I click right here where it says thesaurus.com, it will take me to thesaurus.com. I'm going to type in my word, impartial, hit the search bar. Here are my synonyms. I'm going to use them next. But I'm going to scan down here to these antonyms. And I'm going to pick 5 of these antonyms for impartial. I can pick any 5 that I choose. And I'm going to write them in my notebook. Okay, so I found my word from the list. I got the definition from dictionary.com. I found 5 antonyms for impartial: subjective, unfair, biased, prejudiced, and interested. I got those from thesaurus.com. And now it's time to go and find synonyms for the word impartial. I'm going to also find that on thesaurus.com. So here I am back on thesaurus.com where I found my antonyms. I'm now going to scroll up to find the synonyms. If I look down here in the color code, it says that the red ones are the most relevant, meaning they're the most related to the word impartial. I'm going to choose 5 of these words, and then I'm going to do a deeper dive into them in my notebook. So now I'm going to pick my 5 words. All right, I'm back to my notebook. I've got my word, my definition, my 5 antonyms, and I picked 5 synonyms. Notice they are not ranked yet. I cannot rank their meaning until I know what each one of them means. Remember, each synonym has a different shade of meaning. So I need to look these 5 words up in order to see what they exactly mean, so then I can use the evidence from the definition to rank them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I look up the words. All right, when I'm looking up words, I cannot just click on the word and go to the definition. That's only going to give me synonyms. I would have to actually see the definition in dictionary.com. So I see that this definition says it's free from reservation, disguise, subterfuge, straightforward, informal, unposed, honest, impartial, frank, outspoken, open, and sincere. All right, so I'm going to take those definitions and I'm going to paraphrase them down and put them into my notebook so I know what the word candid really means. I'm going to do the exact same thing with all 5 words that I chose. So the next word that I chose was equitable. I'm going to click on the word equitable from synonyms. But I'm not going to pick a synonym. I'm going to click here where it says see definition of equitable. That's going to take me to dictionary.com. So I see here in this definition that it seems like it's characterized by equity or fairness. So I would need those words, equity, fairness, right, reasonable. And it also talks about law. So I want to make sure that I make note of that. I'm going to go through and I'm going to look up every single one of my words this way and take notes. So the next word that I used was objective. I'll click on the word objective. Click see definition of objective. And then I'm going to look at this definition and take notes on that. I'm going to do that for all 5 of the words that I chose. And then I'm going to show you my notebook. Okay, I'm done. I looked up all 5 of my words in dictionary.com and I paraphrased down the definitions. So I know what they really mean specifically. Now that I know what they mean specifically, I can rank the words. So I'm going to call it ranking. Now number 1 is going to be the strongest. And I'm going to skip lines so I can have room for my sentences. All right, so now I move from 1 to 5. And now it's time for me to rank these words. So I'm going to look at the definitions and think about which one seems the strongest to me and why. Number 5 is the weakest. I don't care which way you work. So if it's easier for you, work strongest to weakest or weakest to strongest. It does not matter to me. I think number 1 for me would be equitable. Now I need to write my sentence explaining why. This is the strongest because it deals with law. That means it's serious, right? So based on these definitions, I am going to make an inference. Because remember, ranking the connotation of words has to do with your background knowledge. So the more that you know about the word, the easier it'll be for you to rank it. So let me look at my list again. Second strongest, I would probably say, is candid. And I would explain why that is the second strongest. So candid is the second strongest, probably because it talks about being outspoken. See, because being outspoken is usually something that's loud, right? It's usually a strong characteristic. Now I'm going to go to number 3. I've got 3 words left. So I did equitable. I did candid. Now I have objective, detached, and neutral. So I think that I'm going to go objective. And then actually detached. And then neutral. And I'll tell you why. I think objective is because it's not influenced by feelings, right? But it's not really taking a side. Detached means you're not involved at all, and neutral means you're not belonging to anything. So objective, this is in the middle because it hears the sides, but is not emotional. Because when I think of the word outspoken, I think about someone being emotional. So that means it's a little bit stronger of a word. Detached, that means you're not involved in all. This is the second weakest because the person isn't involved. And then make sure I have my periods here so I know that I have a complete sentence. And neutral. This is the weakest because it chooses not to even take a side. It doesn't even belong to a group. When someone is neutral, and I have that extra line here, they do not belong or choose at all. So if you're neutral, that means you don't really make a choice at all. If you're detached, your choice is saying, I'm not involved. If you're objective, it's in the middle because you hear both and you're not emotional. If you're candid, it's the second strongest because it feels like outspoken's a strong word. And equitable is the strongest because it deals with law. If you have any questions about this assignment, please feel free to reach out to me. You can text me or you can email me. Have a wonderful day.